Does creatine intake improve my running performance? Having taken creatine now for 2 years, beginning with 1.25 grams, then 3 times doubling it, then experimenting with 25 grams, backing down to 10 grams, I think the answer is yes. Today was the 8th day without creatine. Usually now I take 10 grams and I just was running. I ran 11.4 kilometers at 6 minutes and 27 seconds per kilometer. For this run, everything went right, I think. I even napped before. And yet, it wasn't that good. Since not taking creatine, now for the last 8 days, I did not have a good run and I did not have a very good strength workout. Usually that happens at least once a week. I had to decrease the weights in my strength training and the run today was fairly slow. Now I did do a lot of elevation. Basically I ran through kind of the city around me and I took every hill I could with me. Sometimes I almost walked up the hills. What seems to be one of the most noticeable effects is that after beginning to run, the first 10 to 15 minutes, I usually, if I'm in peak condition and if I'm on creatine, then I have a almost nitro phase, similar to many car games where you can just drive faster for a little bit. So basically a short phase in which one has higher running power. In short, this run today I think was the final nail in the coffin and I will again begin to take creatine despite the downsides. The downsides mostly being that it costs something, about 23 euros per kilogram. The clothes I currently do have, almost all of them do no longer fit. While I did increase in body fat maybe 1 to 3% over the last couple of years, the creatine intake seems to also inflate my muscles such that pants and tops don't really fit any longer. For shirts, for example, I can only wear XL or XXL. For pants it's even more difficult because my waistline did not really increase, but my leg size did. And the third major downside of creatine intake, I think, is hydration. Since I do need to intake more water, so according to Copilot, it's about 330 milliliters per 5 grams of creatine. But in my experience, I need to drink more water. So maybe for every 5 grams of creatine I intake, I need to drink an additional liter of water a day. And so, despite the downsides, I do think the accumulated training volume that, well, I can accumulate over the years probably outweighs the costs of creatine, and thus it seems to be rational to again begin to take it. One additional thing I probably should mention is that for the last years now, for 2 years, I had elevated liver markers, which I am not entirely sure why it would be. Maybe creatine does contribute a little bit.